You ever skin something just because you're bored? That's what started all of this. I was in the elevator, coming home from work, and someone had slapped a QR code on the panel next to the buttons. It looked fresh, like it hadn't been there the day before. Above it, in sloppy handwriting, "Residents only. No drama, please." Which, of course, meant definitely drama. So I scanned it. Landed me in a Telegram group chat called Tower 3 Front Entrance. Apparently, it was for the building across from ours. Not even my building. Wrong QR code. Wrong address. But man, the right amount of boredom. I didn't say anything. Just watched. People dropped blurry photos from security cams, debated trash pickup schedules, shared rumors. Someone lost a cat. Someone else was selling a used treadmill. It was like a small-town soap opera in real time. And yeah, I got hooked. Fast forward 3 days. It was a Tuesday night, I think. I was lying on the couch, half watching a cooking show, half scrolling that Telegram chat. Someone dropped a new pic from the entrance cam, timestamped 6:41 p.m. It was low quality, like most of them. But it hit me like a punch to the chest. In the center of the frame, clear as day, was my wife, Lisa, standing at the front of that other building, in his arms. I don't know who he was yet, but they weren't shaking hands, let's just say that. He had one hand around her waist, and her face was tilted up toward his, cheek to cheek. And the worst part? The caption. "Hot couple from 9th floor again." Someone replied with a laughing emoji. Then another chimed in. "Damn, they can't wait till they're inside, LOL." I remember just staring. The blood drained from my face. And I swear, in that moment, my heart dropped straight into my shoes. I clicked the photo. Zoomed in. Same coat. Same scarf. Same curls tucked behind the ear. Lisa. No doubt. It felt like some alternate reality. Like I was watching a deepfake made just to screw with me. My brain kept trying to rationalize it. Maybe it's not her. Maybe it's someone who just looks like her. Maybe this is old. Maybe. But no. The timestamp was yesterday. And the woman in the picture? That was my wife. I sat there for a long time. Not thinking. Not moving. Just scrolling back, digging through every message in that group for context. Turns out it wasn't the first photo. They'd been posting about the couple from 9th for over a week. At the entrance. In the elevator. Leaving together late at night. Someone even made a dumb meme out of one of the shots. And all this time, I thought she was just working late. So yeah. That's how I found out something was wrong in my marriage. Not from her lips. Not from a slip-up or confession. From a blurry Telegram photo. In a group chat I wasn't even supposed to be in. And that's where it all began. For a whole hour, I just sat there, staring at the screen like an idiot. Trying to find some angle, some thread of logic, that would make this anything but what it looked like. You know how your brain tries to save you from emotional collapse? Mine was working overtime. Maybe it's not her. Maybe it's just someone who looks like Lisa. Same coat, same bag, same hairstyle. Okay, fine. But maybe not exactly her. Maybe it's an old photo. Maybe it's photoshopped. Maybe it's a prank, or a mix-up, or some random woman with an identical everything. But deep down, I already knew. The way she tilted her head. The way she tucked her hand into her coat. That was Lisa's body language. That's her. You don't mistake those details when you've spent almost 10 years memorizing a person. And then came the second punch. New photos dropped. This time, inside the elevator. Same timestamp. Same couple. Only now they were kissing. And not a peck. Not the kind of kiss you give someone you're trying to hide. This was full on, no shame, back of the elevator passion. The kind of thing you do when you think no one's watching. I scrolled down. Damn, they're at it again. Y'all ever get a room? 9th floor stays spicy. I felt sick. Still, some part of me wanted to understand. Wanted to know who. Wanted to know why. So I started digging. First question, who's posting these photos? I checked usernames. One guy posted most of them. Rick_9B. I clicked his profile. No photo, of course. Typical anonymous neighbor. But from his messages, I could tell. Rick was that guy who treated the chat like reality TV. Always online. Always commenting. Probably sitting at his window, with a zoom lens and a coffee. Second question, who's the guy? From the angle of the shots, the guy's face was half visible. Brown hair. Sharp jaw. A beige jacket I didn't recognize. I zoomed in, frame by frame. Nothing jumped out. But I knew this. Lisa never mentioned a single person in that building. She barely talked about our neighbors, let alone another building entirely. So now I had a mission. Find out who lived on the 9th floor. But that wasn't exactly easy. I didn't want to message the group and blow my cover. I needed to lurk. To collect. Quietly. So I started screenshotting everything. Every mention of the couple. Every photo. Every username that commented. I created a damn folder on my phone titled Investigation. Yeah. That's where I was. That's the mental place I had reached. I was tracking my own wife through a Telegram group I wasn't supposed to be in, trying to figure out if she was cheating on me, or if I completely lost my mind. Spoiler, I wasn't crazy. Not yet, anyway. But the cracks had started. I stopped eating dinner that week. Slept on the couch, by accident, more than once. Every time Lisa came home late, said she stayed at work to finish edits, I just nodded. But inside, I was watching, measuring her voice, her body language, her timing. And all the while, I kept checking that damn chat. Hoping, weirdly, that the photos would stop. That maybe, it was a one-time thing. But the photos didn't stop. And neither did the lies. I didn't sleep much after that. You ever get that twisting, acid feeling in your gut? Like your whole nervous system's trying to crawl out of your skin? That was me. Every night. Lisa would be brushing her teeth in the other room, and I'd just lie there on the couch, eyes open, jaw clenched, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding like I'd run a mile. Because now I knew something was wrong. And the worst part? I was still hoping I was wrong. Yeah. Honestly, I wanted to be the idiot. The paranoid husband. The overthinker. The guy who watched too many YouTube videos about infidelity and jumped to conclusions. But I wasn't. And that made everything worse. I became a damn spy in my own life. First thing I did? I bought a tiny motion-triggered camera online. The kind of gadget you'd see in a thriller, disguised as a phone charger. Creepy? Absolutely. But I wasn't messing around anymore. I installed it in the entryway of our building, just above the mailboxes. Easy to miss. It had a decent angle of the door and part of the elevator. Enough to catch a face. A kiss. A hug. Then I synced it to my phone. Set alerts. Set up cloud storage. Created a new email just for the footage. At that point, I had more surveillance gear than some mall security departments. And that wasn't all. I turned notifications back on for that cursed Telegram chat. Set it to ping my phone every time the word 9th or couple showed up. I even scrolled back through months of old messages in case I missed something. Turns out, I did. They'd been spotted before. Not often. But it wasn't a one-time thing. Late-night photos. Blurry elevator selfies from someone living above. Always the same caption. Spicy couple from 9B. Always some heart emojis, some laughing reactions, some sick freaks cheering them on like a Netflix drama. It made my skin crawl. And then came the next hit. Thursday night. Rainy, humid, gross kind of evening. Lisa said she was working late, again. Had a deadline for edits, she said. Might be home by 10. I nodded. Kissed her on the cheek. Watched her walk out the door. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Camera alert. Motion detected, entryway. I pulled up the feed. There she was. Same coat. Same bag. Hair pulled back. And then, 2 steps behind, him. Same guy. Brown hair, smug grin, jacket half open. They walked in together. Not too close, not too obvious. But then, they stopped at the mailboxes. He leaned in. Said something. She laughed. And right there, boom! He put his hand on her lower back. She didn't flinch. Didn't push him away. She looked around. Then smiled. Then they walked into the elevator. I just stared at the screen like a zombie. Couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. I replayed the footage a dozen times that night. Slowed it down. Watched her face. His hand. Her eyes. And the worst part? It wasn't some passionate affair. It wasn't wild or reckless. It looked comfortable. Like this wasn't new. Like they had a rhythm. A routine. That's what broke me. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a drunken one-nighter. It was normal. For them. For her. And I had all of it recorded. Every step. Every smirk. Every silent betrayal. I wanted to scream. To throw the phone. To storm out and catch her in the act. But I didn't. I just sat there. In my own living room. Watching my marriage fall apart on a 1080p screen. And all I could think was, how the hell did we get here? So now I had a mission. Find out who he is. The guy in the videos. The man my wife smiles for when she thinks no one's watching. And no, I wasn't about to barge into apartment 9B with a baseball bat like some lunatic. I needed facts. Proof. Something I could hold in my hand and say, This is what you did. First stop, property records. Took me 10 minutes. Pulled up the building registry, searched the units, and there it was. Unit 9B, registered to a Matthew Collins. Age, 35. Divorced. No kids. Works in sports equipment sales. Apparently runs half marathons for fun. One of those guys. I searched his name on social media. Of course he had a profile. Shirtless hiking pics, gym selfies, a golden retriever named Bandit. Real man of the people vibe. But you know what stood out? His apartment photos. He'd recently posted a story. Finally starting the remodel. This place is gonna look brand new. And guess who commented on that story? Yeah. Lisa. She wrote, Can't wait to see the transformation. With a little paintbrush emoji and a wink. A wink. I felt like I'd swallowed a rock. I scrolled further. A few weeks back, he posted a picture of a hallway light fixture. Sleek, modern, way more tasteful than I expected. One of the comments? Looks like Lisa's got great taste. And his reply? She definitely does. Right there. In public. Not even hiding it. And I started piecing it all together. Lisa wasn't just working late. She wasn't grabbing drinks with the girls. She was helping Matt from 9B pick out light fixtures. Throw pillows. Curtain rods. Maybe testing the mattress, too, for comfort. The next time, she said, she was going to her friend Claire's. I played along. Oh, say hi to Claire for me. I told her with a smile. Then I waited. Camera alert. Ping. Same coat. Same bag. But this time, I didn't just watch from a screen. I grabbed my hoodie, threw on a cap, and went out the back stairwell. I stayed in the shadows across the street. Watched as she walked up to his door. Apartment 9B. She looked around, real quick, and knocked. He opened the door. They didn't hug this time. No kiss. But she stepped inside without hesitation. Like she belonged there. Door closed. Lights on. And I stood there, behind a bush like some idiot, with the cold wind biting my face, realizing something that hit way harder than the rest. She didn't lie to protect me. She lied to protect that. Whatever the hell it was she had with him. A fling. A phase. A second life. I didn't know yet. But I knew one thing. She didn't come back home that night. I got back from the trip early. Didn't tell her. Booked the earlier flight, turned off location sharing, kept my messages dry. Let her think I was still away. That was the point. Because I needed to see it. Not just on camera. I needed it to hit different. Raw. Unfiltered. Landed at noon. Took a cab home. Didn't go upstairs. Just sat in my car around the corner, checking that damn Telegram chat like it was my job. And there it was. Fresh post. 5 minutes old. A blurry photo taken from the lobby security mirror. The caption. Lovebird's back at it again. It was Lisa. Clear as day. Same trench coat. Same red bag. Walking out of his building. Hair a little messy. Smiling at something he'd said. No rush. No guilt in her posture. Just casual. Comfortable. Like that was normal now. My hands gripped the steering wheel till my knuckles cracked. Then I let go. Walked into our building like nothing happened. She was already home when I got in. I opened the door, dropped my bag, and just stood there for a moment. Tried to catch my breath without looking like I needed to. She came out of the kitchen, holding a coffee cup like it was any other afternoon. Oh! Hey! You're back early, she said, like she'd just run into me at a grocery store. I nodded. She came closer, smiling. A little tight, but still smiling. How was the trip? Still didn't answer. Just walked past her, hung up my jacket. Sat on the edge of the couch. She lingered behind me, probably expecting a hug. Or a kiss. Or a lie in return for hers. You okay? She finally asked. And that's when I looked at her. Not like a husband looks at a wife. More like a man trying to figure out if the stranger in front of him speaks the same language. Lisa, I said quietly. Where were you this morning? She blinked. Work. You don't work on Fridays. She froze. Only for a second. But I saw it. Oh, right. I meant I was meeting a client. She recovered. Freelance thing. Real quick. I didn't move. Didn't react. Which client? I asked. Silence. Then she gave a name. Some company. Generic enough. And I just nodded again. No shouting. No accusations. No pulling out screenshots like a courtroom exhibit. Just silence. She looked nervous now. Like she wasn't sure which script to follow. You're acting weird, she said, laughing. Is something wrong? I looked at her for a long time. Too long, maybe. And then I stood up. Walked past her, into the bedroom. Where are you going? Shower, I said. Jet lag's kicking in. She stood in the hallway, watching me close the door. And behind that door, I stood with my back to the wood, heart pounding like a war drum. Because sometimes, silence is louder than anything. And in that silence, I heard everything. I didn't confront her that night. Didn't throw a tantrum. Didn't scream, I saw you with him, you liar. No. Instead, I started planning. Because when you've already been stabbed in the back, the only thing left is to make sure it doesn't happen again. Not without a little return fire. So I opened a folder on my laptop. Named it something dumb, like Taxes 2021. Inside, I started collecting everything. Screenshots from the chat. Timestamp photos. The Telegram usernames of people who posted them. Even her texts, the ones she thought were safe to send when I was away. I had video from the camera I'd planted near the entrance. It wasn't Hollywood quality, but you could tell who was who. Him letting her into the building. Her sneaking kisses in the stairwell like it was high school. You know what the weirdest part was? She got colder. Colder than she'd ever been. Like the guilt wasn't eating at her. Like I was the problem now. Meanwhile, and this part still makes me laugh, I turned into super husband. I cooked dinner. Bought flowers. Made her coffee in the morning with almond milk, even though I hate almond milk. Rubbed her shoulders when she had a headache. You'd think I was trying to win her over. But nah. I was just setting the stage. Because if this was gonna blow up, I wanted no loose ends. No, maybe you were distant, or maybe she felt neglected. No. I wanted it clear as glass. She had everything. And still chose the dirt. She started staying out later. One time, I heard her whispering in the bathroom. Door locked. Yeah, no, he doesn't suspect a thing, she said, then giggled. I nearly punched the wall. Instead, I opened notes and typed. Call recording app. Set reminder. Next morning, I left her a little note with her tea. Have a good day, babe. Can't wait to see you tonight. And I meant none of it. But she smiled when she read it. Kissed my cheek. For the first time in weeks. And you know what went through my head in that exact moment? Good husband. Solid guy. Just delivered to the wrong address. That's when I knew I was done playing defense. I wasn't here to catch her anymore. I was gonna let her hang herself with a rope she didn't know I'd been measuring. She had no clue. None. Every time she walked through that door with her shopping bags, or her fake stories about catching up with some coworker, I smiled, nodded, and handed her a glass of wine. Inside, I was ice. Outside, picture-perfect husband. And that, my friend, is when I knew this wasn't about heartbreak anymore. It was about clarity. About control. And if she was gonna keep dancing in the dark, I was more than happy to hold the spotlight. I sent everything to my friend Alex, lawyer, old college buddy, and the guy you call when you want things done quietly but thoroughly. Told him the basics. Sent the folder. Didn't even have to explain. One look, and he replied with 3 words. Start the clock. Meanwhile, in the apartment, life was domestic bliss. At least on the surface. I asked about her day. Gave her foot rubs while we watched Netflix. Played the doting husband who never suspected a thing. But behind the scenes, the gears were spinning. Telegram kept delivering too. Bless that nosy little chat. Someone posted a photo from across the street. Her and that guy standing by the cafe, holding hands. Laughing. Caption read, Power couple from the 9th making it official? I stared at the screen, not even angry anymore. There she was. Like she wanted to be caught. And for the first time, I didn't feel betrayed. I felt in control. One night she came home late. Hair tousled, cheeks a little too flushed for just dinner with the girls. She dropped her keys, kicked off her heels, and looked at me with this half-drunk grin. You're still up? She asked. Yeah, I said. Couldn't sleep. Was just reading. She yawned. Come to bed soon, okay? I will. I lied. She kissed my head and vanished down the hallway. As soon as I heard the door click shut, I grabbed my phone and sent Alex one word. Ready? Because I was. I had pictures. I had videos. I had chat logs. I had witnesses, the very people she smiled at in the lobby, who were now sending her love life to a group of bored neighbors. And most of all, I had time. She thought she had the upper hand, thought she was in the clear. But I wasn't building a case anymore. I was sharpening the knife. And she was still asleep in our bed, dreaming she was untouchable. It landed on a Wednesday. She was in the kitchen, stirring her oat milk latte like it was some ritual. I'd never seen someone take that long to make a cup of nothing. Doorbell rings. She walks over, opens the door, and I hear a simple, firm voice. Delivery for Mrs. Morgan. Not flowers. Not takeout. An envelope. She closes the door, turns it over in her hands, frowns like it's some billing mistake. Then her eyes land on the sender's name. Law Office. She looks at me, stunned, like I just punched her without raising a hand. Is this some kind of joke? She says, voice shaky. I sip my coffee. Calm. Nope. Her eyes flick back to the envelope. She tears it open, pulls out the papers. Her lips move silently as she reads. Silence thickens. Then, you're divorcing me? Still, no heat in her voice. Just confusion. Like I was the one ruining a beautiful story. I nod once. She steps closer, papers trembling. But why? What the hell is this, James? What happened? I reach over. Unlock my phone. Open the Telegram chat. And I hand it to her. There on the screen, pinned to the top like some twisted community bulletin, her and lover boy in the elevator, tangled like a romance novel gone cheap. One scroll down, more shots. At the door. On the curb. At the cafe. Different days. Same betrayal. She stares. Frozen. It's not what it looks like. She starts. And I cut in, quiet, clear. You were sold out by your own neighbors, sweetheart. Her mouth opens. Closes. Nothing comes out. I keep going. Every time you left with that stupid candle bag and your I'm just seeing Emma smile, they were watching. Taking pictures. Posting them with captions. She looks down at the screen again. Hot couple from the 9th. Spotted again. Guess hubby works late, huh? She scrolls through them like someone flipping through evidence in court. Because that's what it is. Evidence. I didn't mean for it to go this far. She whispers. Oh, I'm sure you didn't. I reply. You probably just tripped and fell into his mouth. Repeatedly. Now she's crying. Which, weirdly, makes me feel nothing. 5 years ago, I would have done anything to stop those tears. Now, I just want her out of my house before the takeout I order gets cold. You could have just talked to me. She tries again. You could have not lied. Every single week. But I love you, she says. I still don't. I interrupt. Just don't. Because if she loved me, she wouldn't be a punchline in a group chat. I stand up, take my phone back. Sign the papers. Or don't. Either way, I'm done. She doesn't move. Doesn't speak. Just stares at the divorce documents like they're in another language. For her, maybe they are. Because this isn't her script. This is mine. And the show? It's over. I didn't wait for her to leave. I packed while she was still there, sitting in the living room, quiet, broken. I didn't care. She could watch. Box after box. Clothes, chargers, books I hadn't touched in months. I wasn't just moving out of an apartment. I was moving out of a life that stopped being mine a long time ago. Funny thing is, you think the hard part will be catching them. the betrayal, the confrontation. But no, the hardest part is the silent sorting. The toothbrush, the photo frames, the coffee mug she gave me on my birthday. Do I keep it? Trash it? Burn it? Each item felt like a question I hadn't asked myself before. And somewhere in between taping shut the last box of kitchen junk and rolling up my socks like a robot, I realized something. I wasn't grieving her. I was grieving me. The guy who thought he had a happy marriage. The guy who trusted. That guy? He didn't survive. She cried again. Asked if we could talk. Said it was all a mistake. I didn't answer. Let silence do the talking. By the time the movers came, she was already hiding in the bedroom. I didn't say goodbye. Just signed the forms, paid the guys, and gave them the new address. Tiny apartment. 1 bedroom. Concrete view. But it was mine. No ghosts in the walls. No lipstick stains on lies. She started texting the next night. Can we talk? I'm so sorry. I miss you. I read them all. Didn't reply. Just watched the 3 little dots pop up again and again as she typed, erased, typed. A few days later, a knock. I checked the peephole. There she was. Standing outside, hair wet from rain, wearing that damn gray coat I once loved on her. I didn't open. I stood there, maybe 2 feet from her, separated by a slab of wood and every reason I needed. She knocked again. Waited. And I just whispered to myself, worse than betrayal is lying about love. Because that's what she did. She sold me a fantasy. Said we were a team. Promised we'd grow old together. And all the while, she was somebody else in stairwells and elevators. She left after 10 minutes. I waited 30 before I moved from the door. Later, another message. I understand now. Goodbye. No reply from me. I poured a drink, sat on the floor, and realized I wasn't angry anymore. Just tired. Really, really tired. But free. Divorce papers came through on a Wednesday. No drama. No courtroom battles. Just a quiet signature on the bottom of a document that marked the end of us. I didn't feel relief. Not joy, not sorrow. Just silence. Like closing a book I didn't remember starting. I sat at the kitchen table, my new kitchen table, and looked at the stack of official words that once meant everything. Marriage dissolved. That's what it said. Neat. Final. Like someone pressing a big red button marked reset. Later that evening, I opened Telegram one last time. That cursed group. That little portal into the ugly side of domestic life. Still active. Still buzzing. Some poor guy had his bike stolen. Another person was ranting about dog poop on the stairs. A grainy photo showed someone sneaking a cigarette by the back door. And then, a new post. There she was. Again. Same coat. But now with another guy. Different one. Someone joked in the comments. Hot stuff from 9th floor's back in the game. I froze for a second. Not out of heartbreak, out of shock. She stayed. Same building. Same floor. Just changed players. That was the moment I tapped leave group. Then went to my old place, walked into the building, just to do one thing. Lift door opened. And there it was. That damn QR code, still taped to the corner of the panel. I ripped it off. Simple. Fast. Felt symbolic. Like tearing off a bandage you should have removed weeks ago. I stepped back. Looked at the elevator. New stickers, same smell, same cheap light. But to me, that little metal box was the beginning of everything. The first domino. The thing that cracked my little, happy husband bubble. I smirked. Wonder what they'd say now in that chat. Wonder who's the flavor of the month. Who's being filmed kissing someone they shouldn't. Who's getting tagged as the hot one from 9. Not my problem anymore. I turned to leave. And as I walked out of the building, the same way I used to every morning, half asleep and late for work, I had this one stupid final thought. I just wanted to know whose elevator it was. Turns out, it was mine. For a minute. And now? Now it's just another elevator in someone else's drama.